Somewhere in your home, right now, there's a sealed steel tank holding scalding water under pressure. You never think about it. It never makes the news. And the reason it never makes the news is a shoe factory in Massachusetts. March 20th, 1905. Brockton, Massachusetts, a town that makes shoes for the world. At the R.B. Grover factory, about 400 men and women are settling into the morning shift. 4 wooden floors of stitching machines, all running on one thing: steam. The factory's newer boiler is down for repairs. So this morning, the engineer has fired up the old reserve boiler, an iron veteran that has sat mostly idle for years. It holds pressure, it seems fine, but inside its shell, hidden where the iron plates overlap at the seam, a crack has been quietly growing for years. From the outside, the boiler looks solid. No inspection can see the flaw, and no inspection is required. A few minutes before 8, the seam lets go. The boiler doesn't just burst, it becomes a rocket. It tears upward through all 4 floors and the roof, arcs across the street, and comes down through a neighboring house. Behind it, the factory has nothing left to stand on. 4 floors of heavy machinery and 400 people pank into a mountain of splintered timber. Then it gets worse. Ruptured gas lines and scattered boiler coals find the wreckage. Fire moves through the debris faster than rescuers can, and many of the trapped cannot be reached in time. 58 people die. 150 are injured. Brockton digs its dead out of a factory that had passed every requirement, because for the boiler that killed them, there were none. Investigators find the cause in the wreck across the street. That hidden crack in the overlapping seam. It had been growing since before some of the victims were hired. Any internal inspection would have caught it. There had never been one. Now zoom out, because Brockton was not unusual. In turn-of-the-century America, a boiler exploded roughly every day and a half. Factories, ships, schools, locomotives. Thousands of deaths a decade. It was treated like weather, tragic, and inevitable. Brockton broke that acceptance. The explosion was so violent, so photographed, so clearly preventable that Massachusetts did something no state had done properly before. In 1907, it passed a law with teeth. Boilers would be built to strict rules and inspected, inside and out, on a schedule. Then came the problem that nearly killed the reform. Every state that copied Massachusetts wrote different rules. A boiler legal in Ohio was illegal in New York. Manufacturers faced 50 rulebooks, and engineers demanded one. So the American Society of Mechanical Engineers gathered the country's best boiler minds and, in 1915, published the answer: the Boiler and Pressure Vessel Code. Hundreds of pages specifying the steel, the seams, the safety valves, the testing, how to build a vessel that holds. The code's bargain is simple. Every boiler is built to it, stamped to prove it, and re-inspected by licensed inspectors for as long as it lives. The crack that killed Brockton, the code exists, so that crack gets found first. And it worked. Boiler explosions collapsed from an everyday American death to a genuine rarity. One of the quietest, most complete victories in the history of engineering. Today, that code runs to thousands of pages and governs pressure vessels in more than 100 countries. Your building's boiler, hospital sterilizers, air compressors, factory tanks, and the water heater in your basement with its little brass relief valve. That valve is Brockton, remembered in metal. Steam never got safer on its own. The pressure in your walls right now is exactly as dangerous as it was in 1905. What changed is that every vessel holding it was designed, built, and checked under a rule written in the wreckage of a shoe factory. In Brockton, a monument lists the 58. Almost no one visits. That's not neglect, it's the point. The best safety rules are the ones that make their own reason invisible. One disaster later, pressure has rules. So tonight, when the heating pipes tick and the tank in the basement quietly does its job, that silence is 58 people, one crack, and 100 years of a promise being kept. Every safety rule has a story. One disaster later, it protects you.